Hi guys. Super sorry that I've been really inconsistent reading this book. It's taking me a long time. Sometimes I get distracted and it's summer and I have other books I've been reading. Um, like I'm literally reading 5 books aside from this one. And I'm like halfway done with all of them. And I've been outside a lot and I'm trying to play tennis. And I've just been kind of busy and I don't know what's going on that I just haven't been on the ball. I'm sorry. I feel terrible about that. Anywho, we're on chapter 7 and it's called Shortcut to a Good Place. So, last chapter, Jack and Annie were getting thrown out of the baseball park because they look like kids. And I was thinking, like, have you ever worn an outfit that just made you feel confident and helped you do something that maybe you weren't sure of? Or like just sometimes we feel like we're able to do things, so it actually helps us be successful. And so I feel like Jack's probably a really good baseball player, but he just doesn't have the confidence. He doesn't always believe in himself. But when other people believed in him, he kind of believed it too. So it's good to surround yourself with people who lift you up and make you feel brave. Anyway, chapter 7. As Jack and Annie started down the sidewalk, the wind picked up, but the wind didn't matter anymore, Jack thought miserably. That wasn't fair, said Annie. We worked hard. Who cares, said Jack. He felt sick. A wonderful day had turned terrible. Morgan's plan was a big failure. They hadn't learned anything about being great baseball players. We can't just leave now, said Annie. What about Morgan's rhyme? We have to give fly ball away, and we can't do that until we hear the final score. Jack looked back. The guard and the manager were still watching them. Well, we can't stay here, he said, or anywhere near here. Come on. They rounded the stadium at the corner of Sullivan Place and Bedford Avenue. At that moment, two kids were racing down Bedford. They bumped right into Jack and Annie. Ow! Oops! The kids cried, nearly falling down on the pavement. Oh, sorry, said Jack. Olive! Otis! Said Annie. I can't believe it, said Jack. Crashing into you by accident? Said Annie. No accident, said Olive. We came to look for you. We saw you from under the gate, said Otis. Jack changed before our eyes, said Olive. 1 minute he's tall, then he's short. 1 minute he can throw the ball, the next he can't. 1 minute Andy's a big boy, said Otis. The next, he's a little girl. Not that little, said Annie. The twins laughed so hard they nearly fell down again. Annie started laughing too. Then Jack joined in. He couldn't help it. What happened to you? Said Olive. It's hard to explain, said Annie. Really hard, said Jack, still laughing. You changed like magic, said Otis. You're right, said Jack. Let's just leave it at that. What are you going to do now? Said Olive. I don't know, said Annie. We can't stay around Ebbets Field, but we need to hear the final score. Oh, we know a good place to hear the game, Olive said as she looked at Otis. Don't we? We sure do, said Otis, as if he'd read his twin's mind. We promise you'll hear the final score there, said Olive. Where? Said Jack. You'll see, said Olive. Hold hands while we cross the avenue. She grabbed Jack's hand. Otis grabbed Annie's hand. Let's go, girl, he said. You can call me Annie, said Annie. Come on, Annie girl, said Otis. The twins pulled Jack and Annie away from Ebbets Field. Crossing the avenue, they all dodged a streetcar and jumped onto the sidewalk. That was risky, said Jack. He's always so cautious. That's how the Dodgers got their name, said Otis. Fans have to dodge streetcars to get to the ballpark. Really? Said Jack. I didn't know that. I wonder if that's true. So where are you taking us? Asked Annie. To a good place to hear the game, said Otis. We know a shortcut, said Olive. Of course you do, said Jack, grinning. The twins led Jack and Annie down a street with a fish shop and a bakery. They passed a candy store and headed into a maze of alleys. They ran under clotheslines strung high between buildings. Laundry flapped overhead in the spring breeze. They passed some girls playing hopscotch. "Hi, Olive. Hi, Otis," the girls yelled. Next, they passed old men playing cards. "Hey, Olive. Hey, Otis," the men called, waving. Finally, the twins led Jack and Annie through an alley and down a quiet block. They stopped in front of a small brick house. "Here we are," said Otis. "The granny house." "The granny house?" said Jack. "This is where our grannies live," said Olive. "2 regular grannies and 1 great-great-granny," said Otis. "Plus 2 great-aunts," said Olive. "Wow, you're so lucky," said Annie. You get to visit all of them at the same house." "Mama says they spoil us," said Otis. "They give us cookies and cakes. Best of all, they let us listen to their radio." "Come on in," said Olive. She opened the door and led Jack and Annie into Granny's house. No TV, just the radio. So now they're going to listen to the game. I wonder who they're going to give the ball to. I kind of had forgotten about the ball, but I wonder. All right.